Welcome to this tutorial. So today we're actually going to be looking at how to create a payment flow UI and actually prototype it. A payment UI where you have the payment button, where you have the confirm, the pin entry down to your success. So let's get right away. So I'm going to be working with this file. I just created this for the purpose of this class, so it's going to be a short one. So over here, when the user clicks the pay button, it takes him to this modal. This is actually the idea is it's actually going to be an overlay where it just pops up and the user gets to input his pin and all of that. It's just a simple process. So I just wanted to share my thoughts of how I prototyped or how this is actually done. Okay, so firstly I head over to my prototype where I select the button and I drag it to this modal here. So on this modal, I'll say on click, which is the trigger, which is click. Once the user clicks on this button, it will navigate to this container. But instead of navigate, the action that is actually going to take there is open overlay. I want it to stay on that particular screen, but it will just pop up. That's what an overlay actually is, where it has a background at the back. So when I say open overlay and I'll select its position, I want it at the bottom and centered. So I will say close when clicking outside. That's when you click outside the overlay, it will actually close. And I want the background set at 30% black, and I want this animation to be on moving. That's move in, not instant, move in, like to have that real feel. So I'll say it's set its direction to from the bottom, then I'll say slow to 300 milliseconds. So now let's take a look at that. So yeah, when I click outside, yeah, okay, so that's done. So I want the next one to be when I tap on this to input my pin. When I tap on this to input my pin, the keyboard actually comes up. So what I actually did was, this keyboard is placed inside of this, or inside of this particular frame, but it's brought down, is hidden. So on this other one, so one thing about prototyping is the naming convention actually has to be right. So the one here, it's actually hidden, and this one I slide it up down here to give me that smooth feel. So this other one that is actually indicating here, so this is actually indicating that, yeah, I just felt like it's a nice feature to have, where once you click on it, it will just indicate that, okay, start typing. Yeah, that's kind of feature. So I then clicked on this. So when I come over here and I see to my prototype and I'll look for this particular frame, I tried as much as possible to design everything using auto layout. So this is you see, like, my frames are actually named. Yeah, so this is a pin frame. So when I click on this entire frame here, takes me to this. So on this now, the trigger is still on click, but the action, instead of navigate, what I want it to actually do is just swap, since it's an overlay. So what you do on overlays is you get to swap. If you have overlays like multiple overlays, you just get to swap them. So my action here it's gonna be swap overlay to swap from it to swap to the position of the first one. So I'll say swap, and I want it to be at instant. I want it to be at instant. So there, let's see how it's gonna look like. So I'll play this. I'm actually playing this is I go to my, maybe I'm using my shortcut, so I'm just using my shift and space. So you just click on this and I'll say, and you see now, you see that feel, you see that feel. So yeah, so now it's actually indicating that I should type, I should put in my password. Just make those light little micro interactions that just gives your design that sweet feel. So let's actually proceed. So then I move over to this. So what I'll do is, since I have four digits, so this is for the first one. So what I'll do is I'll tend to duplicate this. So what I'm doing is I just move over to this frame and I press my alt key, and then I just move this over like this. So then what I'll do is I'll just move over here to my pin inputs. Yeah, so since it's the first one, so I'll just take these ones off. Yeah, it's actually a pin, so you don't actually want maybe you're outside or somewhere security, based on security reasons, so you don't actually tend to give it the initial figure. Yours can be asterisks, what way or what fee you think it suits your design. So once once the user inputs a button, if a digit, this will appear. And what I want next is I would want the lines, the next one, to actually activate. So what I did, this is actually a component. This is actually a component that I actually created for the course of this design. So the component file is actually the component is actually in this file. So I'll make this file available for anyone who actually wants to test or just play around with it. So this is the component of that. So I'll just highlight this one. So this the next line, and so that's for that. So what I'll do now is I'll move over here now. So once you've clicked here and this comes up, so what next is for the user to input his first digit. So I'm going with the option of 2. So once I click on 2, still the trigger still remains click, swap overlay, instant. I just want that instant feel. So I come over here and I play. So I'll say and see now the first digit has been imputed, and now it's waiting for the second digit to be imputed. So that's just what we're gonna do for the remaining 3 digits. So I'll still move over to design tab and I'll duplicate this, and then I would select this, my pin. I'll add the second one, and for the line, the third one, activate. So for this would now be the third one. So I'll select this one here, then go over to activate the third one and the line, make the last line active, and then one more before the success. So the last one, which is the last line. So now here we have to prototype them. So I'll move over to this. We've actually prototyped this. So I'm going for the second digit. So I'm going with the option of 3. So still the same swap overlay instance, and then 5. I'm going with the option 5, and then I'll say still on click, swap overlay, and then for the last digit I would go with 6. For those of you that might be thinking that this one is using this, it is not my pin. It is not my pin. I just felt like so don't you think that maybe it's one secret pin. No, it's not my pin. So let's try this out. So this is me testing. Okay, so pay, yeah, that's smooth sliding. Then okay, the first digit, the second digit, the third digit, and the fourth digit. Wow, and you can see that's nice, sweet. I'm loving this. So now one thing there is, we need to actually tell the user that okay, it's now the button states he can actually now pay because he has actually imputed his pin, because the button here is disabled because the user has not actually imputed his pin. So I'll move over to this particular part and select the button, and this is actually a button component. So I'll just go to the state and I'll say default, so pay. So either ways, so once the user clicks on pay, it will now navigate to this screen, this success screen, and I would want a moving animation. I would say from the bottom. So from the bottom in a slow motion. I love using slow, so I can actually still go with this option where the user clicks on action button, like maybe enter from the keyboard, so it can still the same settings from the other one. So let's test that out. So preview. Okay, wow, so if I say pay, nice, this is beautiful. So this is actually, we can actually prototype this, and we can actually prototype this, but let me just prototype this back. So I can just say this over to this screen and move out. So yeah, from this side 300. So let's test that out. Sweet, I love this. So how do you actually see the feel of this? Nice, right? So that's it, guys. If you actually found this tutorial helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe. See you on my next video.